Note record was on anyway, so whoops, I'll probably get two separate files for this one. Oh well, I shall have to see about merging them together in edit. But yes, anyway, we are back with Patreon, and we're also back with sound, unlike the beginning of the last stream I did. So before I get stuck in on a little bit of Elite Dangerous, and maybe even try a new theme on this, I do want to give some thanks to my wonderful Patreon backers. Hang on one second. Background, title. I seem to be having some trouble with this right at the moment, so I hope you'll bear with me. Image, add source. I thought I had this all sorted out, but no, apparently I don't. So this is me frantically getting stuff done here. There we go. So let's go back to live mode and bring back the preview. Here we go. So yes, some thank yous for August 2018 for some wonderful people who are backing the show and my general GMing efforts via Patreon. Firstly and specifically, I want to give a shout out to Evgeny Puzankov, who has of course been a guest of the Paid to Play podcast and is also a fantastic game developer out of Russia. I also want to give some shout outs to some folks who have also been backing my efforts on Patreon for a long while. Christian Taylor, Matt Dawson, Paul Cockram, Ross and Sim. Thank you once again for all your wonderful backing. You are helping me do some fantastic things, both as a game master and a person in the role-playing game hobby, but as a podcaster, as a streamer, and fingers crossed this will all add up to some further great things in the future. Anyway, I tell you what, let's switch over to in-play mode so that I can at least talk a little bit about other things that I want to be talking about while playing this wonderful game. So let's get stuck in. I tell you what, let me just swap back to... And let me also just take off mobile data on this, just so I can have a look at what I am doing. Can't find that stream right now. What stream? Yes, you can find that stream right now. You were just showing it to me, for crying out loud, application. Alright, let's shut it down and try again. And while that is going, let's get this loading screen on the way. Solo play, I am still, my Xbox Live subscription is still offline. They're just doing a free play thingy right at the moment. My channel, stream, and here we go, this wonderful graphic of the Cobra Mark III loading up. And it looks like I've got one viewer online, hopefully aside from myself, so say hello if you are out there. I might just mute that just so I can also have that graphic and make sure that everything is working properly. And, ooh, stand upright, you rotten thing, thank you. And I tell you what, let's also try something a little bit more fancy. A little bit of time to process through, and... Okay, I've got a wonderful graphic of the background that I've got here. Click to read your unread notifications. Okay, I'm clicking to read them. Are you going to show me them? Okay, so some issues with skipped frames there. Hang on one second. I think I'm going to have to go back to editor mode because I was sure I had Xbox One. So much for me having this wonderful new thing that I thought was going to work great. Xbox like Xbox. Probably because I am in the editor and what I really need to be doing is bopping back to the actual game application itself. So let's see if that actually... There we go. Finally got it. I can see it on my screen here, and I can also see it on my phone, which is downloading this chat via, pardon me, is downloading this chat via my wonderful new connection. Thank you very much to Telstra, who got in touch and got my plans sorted out so I can get 15 gigabytes of download via my phone, which is very nice. It allows me to do some funky things like this, being able to check my stream without having to draw down on the home connection and drop a few more frames for you. And also I am going to be getting a tablet on my way, thanks to another part of the plan that they've given me. And yes, again, that should help me do some fantastic things with streaming, and maybe even having a bigger chat view, so I've got a better way of seeing what you guys are telling me while I'm on stream. And yeah, having better app access as well, which would be nice. So let's see what we've got at Noriega Port. I'm not going to be on for too long, just because it is 20 past 10 or so where I am right now. 10:21 says the clock on my phone, and it is a work day tomorrow. So let's just see if I can get myself a nice transit job, or maybe even a fairly low-paying assassination job, just so I can actually maybe get some space combat in for once, rather than doing deliveries, etc. Okay, 2,781 units of marine equipment. I don't have anywhere near that kind of room in my cargo hold. Alright, what the heck. Let's give this one a go. It seems fairly cheap, so hopefully it shouldn't be too hard to fly. Never know, you might be having 9 ships from Arare Liberals faction. Okay, why not? Let's just give this a go. Aside from that, yes, there were a couple of other things I wanted to mention while I was on stream, and I'm just going to have to bop away from the chat window very quickly to bring up Evernote, where I have my wonderful notes page. Hello, Andrew. I'll have to remember to disable those notifications at some point, just so you guys aren't bothered by my friends list updates. Let's see. In terms of gaming news, and that's another thing I hope I can do once I get that tablet, actually split screen between my notes for, pardon me, for this, I hate it when the words just suddenly desert you, for this particular stream and the actual chat window, so it's not an either or proposition, because unfortunately I can't see the chat on my main screen. Yes, the Atomic Robo one-shot that I've been trying to organise for the past little while actually happened this weekend at 9:30 on Saturday morning. I wound up with 4 players. It looked like I was going to have 5 at one point, and then unfortunately one of them had to drop out pretty much at the last minute because effectively a babysitter ended up sick, so she could not play. Let's get out of this station. But yes, it wound up working out really great. The plot elements that I had in mind didn't wind up really getting touched on. I had some goons in there as a
landing gear retracted.
As a reason for to have some fights, and I had a reason as to why they were there. But basically, the way things wound up going with the players is they just didn't wind up. Let's see if I can size the left a little bit. Whoa. I hate the way they give you the proximity alert. Pardon me. You're not even that close. Oh, for God's sakes, trespass warning. I'm out of there.
Will be dealt with. Leave the area now.
Alright. So let's at least set my course. I need to find the nav beacon for this wonderful system. Oh, I'm still mass locked. Okay. Just don't make sure I'm pointing in the right direction. because basically what I need to do right now is get to the nav beacon that's around this star. But yeah, as I said, they weren't really too much interested in finding out why the Gunsels I had involved were actually there. We had, I think the most fun was actually doing the brainstorm and putting together the hypothesis for the situation I presented them, which was a cruise ship that was just about to exit Sydney Headswood, and suddenly it found itself levitated about 500 metres above the surface of Sydney Harbour. So that was great fun. The players got to brainstorm. One thing I noticed though, if you roll really well really early in the brainstorm, it kind of stuffs up you making... it makes establishing further facts down the track harder. Because in a brainstorm, you get to... Let's get a move on here, shall we? What do you mean still friggin' mass locked? And I'm still speeding if I break 100, how nice. Okay. When in a brainstorm, basically what the players do is generate 3 facts which they have to roll off for to find out who does each fact, and then create a hypothesis that incorporates all 3 facts that have been identified so far. And when I mean identify, I mean make up. The players actually get to create the facts for themselves, rather than me making a list and then choosing from them. It's a fun little endeavour in that regard. So, yes, they were pretty much focused on that, and that wound up taking up most of the thing, and the character creation ready in 10 minutes wound up taking a little bit more like an hour, so 6 lots of 10 minutes. Players like to faff about, and even when they only have a few options, I guess the thing with creating aspects in the Fate system which Atomic Robo uses, it's pretty well... that's an open thing, and sometimes having that kind of broad of a sense of how you can, define something related to the mechanics of your character can kind of throw players a little bit for a loop, even when they do have a fairly clear idea of what the character is going to be like. Right, 20 seconds out to Arare itself. But yeah, it was great fun, and I wouldn't mind doing it again sometime. I'm trying to reorganise another time for the player who couldn't make it, and fingers crossed that will happen. Here we go. I think it's time I slowed down a little bit. Yes, I also published on the robf.com.au website just this morning some play aids that I had come up with for Atomic Robo and the Fate system more generally, which I think will come in handy, so please go check those out. I also put a post up recently on the Only in Death website asking for people to come up, there we go, there's the nav beacon, slow down a little bit more, with some fun funky names. Yes, I am slowing bloody down. I think I'm going to have to do a loop of shame, maybe not, we'll see what happens. Yep. Alright, maybe that nav beacon there it be. Must be a lot of other ships at Scourge but nuke around this ruddy nav beacon. Oh, a second I got a ding dong. Rare achievement, 100 loot data, marvellous. Okay, so apparently I'm now going to slow to get there anytime quickly. That's more like it. Alright. Yes, and on the Only in Death website I put up a request for help with coming up with some cool NPC names, even having no real idea as to what they are, or maybe that's what I might need to ask for because I didn't really get any replies on it. So, yes, go check that out, onlyindeath.com, have a look at the latest post, and either put your replies up as a comment or send them to me on Twitter, however you would like to respond. So I'm just going to pop this in the chat. No responses yet, it would appear.
Incoming mission critical message.
Thank you very much. Whoops, don't want to hit that. Let's check my messages. There we go. Nav beacon failed. Oh joy. Just what I was hoping for. So basically I'm going to have to do a quick tool around the system and see if I can find these people whom I am trying to shut down. Let's have a look. In the conflict zones of the RRA system. Alright then, so let's see what we've got in system in terms of conflict zones. Of course, it's not going to make life easy for me, is it? Alright. Let's just pick somewhere and go.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage.
Let's see if we can't find somebody to blow up.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Had a bit of a frustrating time recently in Elite Dangerous. I took on some courier jobs and a, what's the word I'm looking for? A sightseeing gig. The only problem was... Yep, another leap of shame. Okay. The only problem was it turned out that the destinations for the jumps were all too far away and would use up too much fuel. Beacon, Belt Cluster 2, so I couldn't even get out of the system to visit them. So this is another limitation of the game that I've just discovered. So I'm going to have to work out what that will mean for playing Elite Dangerous, this wonderfully complex game that I am quite digging otherwise. Okay. Almost there. Yep, let's see if I can get a little bit closer before I disengage. There we go. Oh, and here we are in this asteroid belt.
Cannot comply.
Well, this is interesting, but it seems like pretty much a section of empty space where I could potentially do some mining. One new contact, okay. One contact lost, oh joy. Alright, does this give me any more information on the system? Not really, alright. Let's try Belt Cluster 3, shall we?
Cannot comply.
Why can you not comply? Ah, of course. My guns are out, so of course.
Frameshift drive charging. Ready to engage. 4, 3, 2,
There, that is nice. Okay, I tell you what, this screen view does look very pretty. Although it does seem a little bit over to the left. Oh, no, that's a bit more like it. I don't know, maybe it's needed to recenter for some reason. Okay. Or maybe I was just looking around pointlessly. Okay. So let's see if this asteroid cluster yields anything more interesting. Slowly but surely. I do like this new layout, especially what it does for... Oh, hang on a second. Alright, another leap of shame. Come on, 7 seconds out, let's see. So anyway, if you find folks who are watching on, it looks like at the moment chat is pretty much empty and no one else is watching in, but if you happen to be catching this afterwards, let's see if I can get a nice decent drop down. Let me know what you would, pardon me, like to see on these streams, or content-wise in generally. If you'd like to see a few more blog posts about gaming, maybe some videos. I still wouldn't mind doing a video sometime about not so much my opinions about the Dungeons and Dragons alignment system, but my kind of take on it, my attempts to try and get it to make a little bit more sense than perhaps it does at the moment. You know, it's written in some very kind of flowery but brief terms, and I always find that there are some...
Frameshift drive charging.
I don't want to charge, I just want to have a look around. Have we got anything that might otherwise have beacon? I hate it when I can't remember whether I've already been to. It must have been Cluster 2 because it's not that far away. That they've got no indications as to where the ruddy conflict zones are in this friggin' game, and at least in this particular scenario. So let's
Frameshift drive charging.
try this third belt. Now, okay.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Or maybe even you like more, pardon me, actual play podcasts or even live streams if I can do them. It's certainly been fun to do them as part of Only in Death, so, which I'm sort of toying with the idea of bringing back, whether I do it in the Wrath and Glory rules or stick with Deathwatch for the time being. I know at least Reb within the existing group, if we do go back to it, would like to just stick with the existing rule set. He said he doesn't really have the headspace to take on another one right now, and well, fair enough. And that is another interesting question. One thing I've been trying to do is get some gaming at a decent time, because at the moment, whenever I'm lately, for Only in Death anyway, I was getting up at 6 o'clock to start the session at 7. Thankfully, the session of Atomic Robo I just played started at 9:30. I still had to be up a little bit earlier to get our poor little Suki to the vets. She's having, she had a follow-up shot as she went in just recently for her tetanus booster, her annual shot for that. And I had a chat with the vet about our worries about her back left leg, which, if you've been following along on social media, you will know that we had to get some financial assistance for some friends toward the end of last year because she blew her anterior cruciate ligament, which needed about $3.5 grand worth of surgery to cover. Our insurance did cover $2 grand worth, and a fantastic friend of ours managed to cover the rest of it, and we are slowly paying her back. Here we go, safe disengage, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's drop out. We still owe her a fair bit, but thankfully we should be able to cover most of that with the tax return that our wonderful accountant reckons that we should be getting this year, which is a big relief. Aside from that,
Frameshift drive charging.
okay, have we got any conflict zones around here at all? Doesn't appear so. So I've been so far to pretty much everywhere of importance around Arari. No conflict zones where I can otherwise go and maybe see if I can hunt my quarry down.
Cannot comply.
I keep forgetting hardpoints deployed.
Frameshift drive charging.
No, maybe if I go back to that beacon now, I might have some
Ready
better
to
luck.
engage.
If not, I think I'll just fly myself back to Noriega Port, cancel the job, and go sleep. Alright. So anyway, as I said, I'm trying to get a gaming at a more decent time. Because getting up at 6 o'clock to GM from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, and this is in the morning, not in the evening, on a Saturday morning, it is getting a little bit much, and my 2 UK players are also struggling a little bit because it's their late Friday evening, and in some cases they wind up stuffed from some long shifts on a Friday. So we're trying to work something out there, and we will see what happens. I want to make sure that things are stable before I start doing, making any guarantees of podcast content. If I want to go further without stopping to refuel, get an extra tank and a fuel scoop. I do have, but well, I'm not sure if I've got an extra tank, but I certainly have a fuel scoop on this bad boy. So, yep. So thank you very much, CH415. I am not sure where I would put an extra fuel tank on my Cobra Mark III. I think I'm pretty much, all my internal optional component slots are full. I even traded some cargo space for passenger space, but I would like to keep a little bit of cargo space nonetheless. Just because I do like the ability to pick stuff up or do trading or even do the odd specific courier run. Alright, here we go. But thank you very much for the advice. I'm surprised that it's not actually already coming, doesn't seem to be coming up in the little live chat window that should be populating with, chat stuff. Unless there's something wrong with the way I've got the screen laid out, but I didn't think I had. Oh, maybe it's just not connecting up properly. Alright, come on. See how close I can get. That'll do. Is there. Odd that it doesn't seem to be syncing up with CH415's comments. So, sorry folks if you are chatting along. My apologies that it doesn't seem to be populating through on the screen, which is a right pain. I, was hoping it would come through. And I'm not exactly sure what I need to be doing to get that fixed up. I'll call it, beginner's luck with OBS. Whoa. yeah, I am still not exactly sure what I need to be doing to get that chat widget going.